Hey guys, welcome back to Cough Country. It is Steve with your cannabis news, and we are here today to talk about the truth of cannabis and cognitive decline. So the age-old stereotype that cannabis use makes you dumb is getting the science treatment. And the more it's studied, the more we realize we didn't know as much as we thought about good old marijuana. A recent study found that cannabis use is associated with lower odds of subjective cognitive decline, or SCD. It's a self-reported measure of worsening confusion or memory loss, often an early indicator of Alzheimer's or dementia. And people using cannabis, whether recreationally or medicinally, reported less of it than non-users. And the study didn't say they were just a little bit less at risk. It said it was a significantly linked to lower cognitive decline. Compared to non-users, recreational cannabis use was associated with a 96% decrease in the odds of SCD. Now, this doesn't sound like it makes sense, right? We know other reports are out there saying cannabis use is tied to negative developments in mental performance. It messes with people's verbal recall and learning, memory. It causes general impairment, right? But this study wanted to be more specific and look at not just frequency of use, but why and how people were using it. Rather than just lumping all stoners together, they basically asked a group of participants, age 45 and up, if they were medical, recreational, or non-cannabis users. Then they found out how they consumed cannabis, whether it was smoking, vaping, eating, whatever. Then they found out how often they used. And when they were asked if they experienced worsening confusion or memory loss, it was surprisingly the recreational users that saw the biggest drop in likelihood of cognitive decline. When the scientists were asked for some theories explaining the results here, they suggested that a lot of people use cannabis to help with insomnia and sleep issues. People with frequent sleep disturbances were linked to higher instances of dementia risk, and cannabis, particularly CBD, also helps alleviate stress. And elevated stress levels are also associated with reduced cognitive function in older adults. There was even a study on mice in 2017 that said low doses of THC could improve cognitive function in older rodents. Other studies have shown that cancer patients and patients with chronic illnesses showed almost no loss of cognitive function at all when they used cannabis. But this study didn't exactly provide a 100% clear picture. Cannabis smokers in general showed more signs of cognitive decline than those who consumed in other ways, and more frequent daily use did show a tendency toward decline, with the sweet spot being right in the mid to lower end of the use spectrum. It's also possible people weren't totally open about their use, as some were in states where cannabis was still illegal. They were also quick to point out that issues of tolerance were not really addressed here. And so in 2021, a study found that long-term users were able to function more normally on the substance. So most of the participants had been using for at least a month prior, and effects are reduced at that point, which also suggests stable dosing could take care of a lot of those impairment issues. So this study also focused mainly on older adult users. Much of the contradicting evidence focuses on adolescent development and lifetime use of cannabis. So it could be younger growing brains that are more at risk from sustained cannabis use, even though another study found that regular use in teens at risk of psychotic disorders didn't trigger psychosis symptoms. In fact, they even showed a little improvement. So all in all, no one is saying that heavy cannabis use carries no cognitive risk, right? But that we really don't understand the interaction it has with our brain. There are lots of important factors we have only just begun to consider, and to make the kind of blanket statements like marijuana makes you stupid is just cutting us off from asking the questions that we need to ask to get to the truth.